Hey everybody, welcome to season 2. I thought I'd kick off the season with a little suppitude video to kind of talk about what the what's going on with the project and what I see going ahead as I move into the second season of weekly videos and trying to get back on track in terms of insiders releases and things like that. So I'll be honest with you, season 1 was a lot of fun, but it was a little tricky. It was tough to find the time to put the videos together, and it was a real struggle actually to find the time for music that I was hoping to. So some things have changed for me schedule-wise and otherwise, and I'm hoping to have a little more time to put into that stuff. But I'm also making some adjustments going forward into season 2 that I'm hoping will help. The first thing is I want to keep the videos tighter. This is not only for my own time, but also for the viewers. When we had videos that were 10 and 12 and 15 and almost 20 minutes long sometimes, that's a lot for people to watch. The weekly videos are supposed to be like a video blog, really kind of quick, something that people can check out in a few minutes every week and not have to get bogged down in. So I'd like to try to make the videos tighter, spend a couple of minutes talking about the project, talking about songwriting, talking about some aspect of things, and then a couple of minutes at the end to talk about weekly music links. So that's another change I'd like to make. My own ability to crank out music, may still be limited. So what I want to do is I want every week somebody to have something to listen to. So what I'd like to do at the end of every weekly video is take 1 or 2 minutes to quickly introduce either an influence, some artist that had an impact on my own work, or to talk about a new artist that I found that I think is interesting or inspiring in some way. So every week I want to stick a link at the end so that you've always got something to look. Check in the description underneath the weekly videos because YouTube has some limitations on what links it'll let me put as highlights in the video. So check the descriptions for those links. And the other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to try to get more of those insiders releases going. We had a couple last year and that was cool. But I really want to try to get closer to a pace of, 1 a month, at least 10 a year, hopefully. And one of the big steps there is, honestly, I've got to lower my standards. To shoot straight with you, coming out of North after so many years of having polished recordings and having a fantastic album that came out in 2008, as I was writing new material and recording insiders releases, I was really worried about letting people down, in terms of the quality of the production. But I think that if this is going to happen, I'm going to have to just say, hey, look, this is what I can do. Here's what you're going to get. And fortunately, I've had a couple of backers really support me on this and say, look, it's not about the quality. It's not about the production. The insiders releases is about letting us hear what's going on inside the process. So I'm going to pull out some archival recordings that might be rough. I'm going to pull out some videos that might be rough and share those with my insiders. And if you're pledging a lot of money as an insider and you feel like you're not getting what you're paying for, feel free to adjust that. I don't want you to be unhappy with the insiders releases. But I'm going to stop worrying about it and share stuff with you. And if you don't like what's coming out, let me know or cut down your contribution if you have to. So that's the plan for season 2, and I look forward to talking with you again next week. Thanks. Okay, for a music link this week, let's talk about influences, and let's talk about what is becoming one of my favorite albums of all time. Now, I'm usually bad at superlatives, right? You can't ask me my favorite movie or my top 5, or I'm usually not good at that. What I have are contenders. You can ask me, what are some of your favorites? What are contenders for your top 10 of something, right? So this album right here, The Legende of Jeb Minor by the original Brothers and Sisters of Love, independently released in 1999, independent band, is a contender for one of my favorite albums of all time. And I'll tell you what I like about it. It's got a real acoustic bass, but it has some real diversity to it in terms of the instrumentation, in terms of the techniques that were used. It's got some cool experimental kind of vocal harmony things going on. It's got some treatments on some of the instruments where they made them sound really strange and fun and cool. But the thing I like most about it is that this album is an album. It is not merely a collection of songs that you can pick one and pick one and pick one and kind of listen to it. It is designed to be sat down and listened to from top to bottom. And I love albums that are built that way. Albums that take you on a journey. They move through different musical ideas. different moods, different emotions. And by the time you get to the end, you're like, that last song is ending and you're like, ah, that was cool, right? This is an album that is absolutely like that. The original Brothers and Sisters of Love did go on to do another release called Homes. It came out a few years later. Also a great recording. Both of these are available on Bandcamp. I will put a link down in the description for you to check them out. But if you do decide to check out this record, I recommend that I know it's hard, but try to find a time where you can really sit down and listen to the whole thing end to end. I mean, there's a couple of good tracks if you just want to check stuff out. The title track, track 2. There's a track at the end called Dead Radios. It's the second to last track where they do some really, really fun experimental sound stuff. Brilliant. The whole album though is brilliant. And if you have the time, try to listen to the whole thing from top to bottom because it really is a great record. So, The Legend of Jeb Minor, 1999, from the original Brothers and Sisters of Love. Definitely an influence, definitely something that I aspire to.